Good everybody, it's a guy here. Today I want us to look at something very important. As I always say, if you come into your charts and you don't know exactly what you're looking for, you're simply gambling. You need to go back and learn, because by the time you open your charts, you need to know exactly what you're looking for. Okay, what must happen for you to execute? Okay, what must not happen for you not to execute? Okay, so guys, it's important. So without any further ado, already you know that this is the most explosive strategy for indices, and as the name says, it's explosive. We don't want to be in something that's going to be playing around. Okay, the moment we enter, we want something that explodes into our direction or against us. Okay, because you're not going to be right 100%. Okay, so look at this, guys. Look at this. Look at this. How do you know what you are looking for? Simple. We have steps to follow, and if these things don't show up, obviously we're gonna do nothing. Okay, as you can see, the first one is green. We can continue even if this one is not met. However, these ones are red. We do not do anything until they are met. Okay, so now let's say the session is about to open. Okay, we come to our charts few minutes before the session opens, roughly 10 to 5 minutes before the session opens, and the session opens at 9:30 a.m. New York time. They've changed time, they've added an hour. Make sure you adjust your times correctly, because last weekend they did change times due to daylight saving time, and times have changed. Make sure you do the proper adjustments. Okay, so when you come 5 to 10 minutes before the session starts, what are you gonna do? Okay, let me show you on my charts. Okay, I have this gray highlighted box here. This is 9:30 a.m. US time. In South Africa, it's roughly 4:30. Okay, that's when the New York is opening. So as I said, I'm gonna come somewhere around here, 10 to 5 minutes before the session opens. And what do I do the moment I come to my charts? I ask myself this question: what type of trend do you see? Because guys, if you are in any form of a trend, you must be careful. Okay, because I told you there are different kind of trends, and these trends are easily to identify because I gave you all the steps. I even draw all the trends for you. Okay, so if you are in a creeping trend, you will know exactly what to do, because we have more than 6 different types of creeping trend. If you are in an explosive trend, you will know exactly what to do, because we have roughly 2 types of explosive trends. And if you are in a normal trend, you will know exactly what to do. So guys, these are different strategies on themselves. Okay, these are different strategies. If you actually come and identify that you are in one of the creeping trends, you know what to wait for. You know what to wait for before you execute, and where to execute, because I actually gave you everything under these trends. Okay, but let's say they did not show a trend, because they're not always going to show them. However, when they do, they're going to give you the most easiest execution. Okay, but let's say there is no trend. Okay, if there is no trend, it's fine. You identify trap volume before the session begins. Okay, this is highly important. Okay, and let me just show you on my chart what I mean. I mean that okay, this is a 1 minute time frame, and that's what we use. Okay, so let's say to identify trap volume, sometimes you're not gonna see that. Okay, let's look at this day, the day before yesterday. Okay, it was a holiday though, but let's look at trap volume. What do I mean by trap volume? I mean, when we come into our session, who is losing? And I told you they're gonna trap below or above the closing price of the previous day. Where is the closing price? The closing price is this red dotted line. As you can see, it says prior day open closing line. So this, it's where the prices closed the previous day. Okay, so it's a free indicator in the description. You can just get it. Okay, they're gonna trap above or below this line. Why? Because indices are a group of stocks, and stocks open at 9:30 a.m. US time. So throughout the day, there are no activities. Okay, so they are mostly going to be consolidating. Okay, they are mostly going to be consolidating. And when we come to our charts, I told you 10 to 5 minutes before, we need to know who is at a loss. Okay, and whoever is at a loss, those are the people who are trapped. In other words, if you look at this here, there are people who went up and there are people who went down. We are in the middle. Okay, what do I mean that when I say we are in the middle? This is the high, right? There are people who chase prices when they were going up. As you can see, go up. Okay, and this is roughly the low. Okay, which is somewhere here. So there are people who went down. At this time here, we don't know it's right, because we are in the middle. But if the session opened here, everybody who went up was gonna be at a loss, and we were gonna say everybody who went up would have been trapped, right? Everybody who went up would have been trapped had this session opened somewhere here when we came to the session. However, because now it's opening roughly somewhere here, 10 to 5 minutes, and we are in the middle. There are people who went down. We don't know who's losing between the two. Okay, because obviously those who went down are losing, and even those who went up are losing when prices are here. So we can't tell who is literally trapped. So that's why I actually put it in what? That's why I put it in green. Sometimes you won't see, sometimes you will see. It's very important, okay? And then the second question we ask ourselves is, we wait for the session to open. As I already showed you, I use this gray highlighted area over here, okay? So that tells you that I'm not going to do anything until the session opens. So what does this tell you? It tells you that you are free the entire day. You only come during the New York session. That's when you start working. So the entire day belongs to yourself, and that's what we call freedom, and that's what we need, okay? Freedom. So we're going to wait for the session to open. And remember, we do not chase the first candle, because that's when most of the orders are coming in, because that's the time the session is actually opening. There'll be a lot of orders coming in, so we don't chase this one, because mostly it's going to be the biggest one, okay? So we do not chase this one. It's very, very important to know that, okay? It's very important to know that. And then we identify trap volume during the session. How do we know who's trapped during the session? This is where we use chart patterns, okay? Whatever chart patterns you know, you can use them here. 90% of my executions are based on a triangle. So if we get a triangle during the session, sometimes it starts before the session, but it must complete inside the session, okay? So this is a chart pattern, okay? So this tells you that they are trapping. They're sending people down, they're sending people up. So inside this box, there's a lot of activities happening. People are buying, people are selling. Why? Because you don't know what is happening until everything is done. Because some people can ask me, how do you know then that there are trap volume inside here? How do you know? Okay, because I always tell people, patterns tells us what the insiders have been doing, and they tell us who has been trapped. Okay, now the bigger question is, why will people take patterns? Why will market makers give you the pattern if it's so obvious? Obviously, guys, remember, if prices are going up, there are people chasing them. If they're going down, there are people chasing them. If they're going up, there are people chasing them, okay? If they're going down, there are people chasing them. If they're going up, there are people chasing them. So you don't know what has been happening until what? Until a time you can see that, oh, I am inside a chart pattern, okay? So why is it that they always give chart patterns, whereas there are many people who are anticipating chart patterns? Obviously, because you don't see, and people are impatient. People are impatient. People are always scared of FOMO, missing out, okay? So that is the major reason why chart patterns work, okay? Because I know there are people who have been asking why chart patterns work, why chart patterns work. Guys, remember, we are not just using chart patterns, because I know there are people who are going to say, but stop hands. Yes, guys, stop hands work. But here we have different kind of factors that we are actually taking into consideration, and they are helping us to make the decision, right? Okay, look at this. When we get a chart pattern, it doesn't matter, even if it's a rectangle, okay? Because when prices are going up, you don't even know that they're building a rectangle. If prices going down, people are chasing prices. Prices go up. Some people see this as resistance and support. And at some point, they are going to know that they are trapped when it's now obvious that there is a rectangle. And at this time here, most people have blown their account. At this time here, most people have taken losses. At this time here, most people are frustrated, okay? So that's one thing you need to know. And that's what I mean by trap volume during the session. Who is trapped during the session? We will know by a chart pattern, okay? And then once we have a chart pattern, we go to the next step. If there is no chart pattern, you do nothing. You just keep on waiting. And this is the most important thing. If there is no chart pattern, you keep on waiting until it's given. If throughout the entire day it's not given, then you know it's a day for doing nothing. Okay? So now, once we have a chart pattern, we wait for what? We wait for the evidence candle, because the chart pattern doesn't tell us anything. There are people who are trapped going up, there are people who are trapped going down. There are people who are going up, and there are people who are going down. Just know that, guys, inside these things here, there's a lot of activities happening. If you have ever blown your account inside a pattern, you'll know what I'm talking about, okay? There's a lot of activities. There's a lot of buying and selling inside here, okay? So at this point, we don't make a decision because we don't even know what's happening, okay? We just know that they have trapped. It doesn't matter where prices are coming from, up or down. We know that they have trapped here. So what do we expect now? We want to see an evidence candle. What is an evidence candle? It's the biggest candle that breaks out, okay? Not just any breakout, a big candle that breaks out, okay? So let's see. Let's say maybe they break to the upside, okay? Let's say they break to the upside. Let's say they break to the upside, okay? I'm going to show you this on the charts. Let's say they break to the upside. We need this one to be the biggest candle from the last touch here. the biggest candle from the last touch here. Let's say on this one they decide to break to the downside. Now I'm giving you two different examples here, and please pay close attention because this is important. As you can see, one touched on the line down, okay? This other one just went up and never came back here. So what is an evidence candle in this case? In this case, the evidence candle is the biggest breakout candle. Of course, we already know that is the biggest candle, but I said it's the biggest candle from the last touch, right? Okay, in this case, the last touch is here, but we are looking from this point here. And guys, please start paying close attention to every time they do something like this, okay? They give a mini push to the opposite direction. This is very powerful, okay? This is very powerful. Once you get something like this, mostly they're gonna give you a pin here, okay? Mostly they're gonna give you a pin here, and they're gonna give you an engulfing candle, okay? This is a powerful combination. That's when they can now give you a huge engulfing candle. This combination is powerful. Or maybe when they are going up, they give you a big candle like this, and then all of a sudden they give you something like a doji or pin, whatever you call it, okay? Doji or pin, and then it's followed by a huge candle like this. This is a very powerful pattern. Or let's say they give you a rarer track. There's a big candle going up at this point here, and again the following candle is equal size going down. This is a rarer track. This is very powerful as well, okay? So now once we have identified a evidence candle, an evidence candle is the biggest candle that breaks out, okay? It's if they do something mini touch, this is the last point here. You need this candle to be bigger than all the candles from this point here. If they do something like this, you need this candle to be bigger than all these candles down here, and it must be an engulfing candle anyway, okay? So guys, now we got the evidence candle. You look at your watch, okay? It's important. You're not just gonna take any candle, okay? You have to look at your watch. Why? Because if this is your watch, guys, we need a candle that, an evidence candle that actually shows up at near the o'clock mark or near the half-hour mark. This is just your watch, okay? This is o'clock, this is half past. The evidence candle must happen as close as possible to half past. Why? Because we have different time frames. The 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 15 minutes, and the 30 minutes all close where? They all close at half past. So guys, obviously, they are going to make sure that they've trapped everybody on these different time frames, and that's when they will shift the zones. Okay, on the o'clock mark, the 5, the 15, the 30, the 1 hour, all of them close here, okay? So obviously, and roughly the 4 hour, because mostly that's when the 4 hour also closes. So guys, this is when a lot of people on different time frames are actually going to be trapped, okay? So what we want is, we want an evidence candle that closes from 50 to 10 past, but most preferably I want the ones that actually happen at 55 to 5 past, okay? The same applies here, 20 to 40, but preferably for me, I want the ones that happen from 25 to 35, okay? These are the ones I love. But again, if it happens from 20 to 22, I'm gonna take it anyway. But remember, it must happen as close as possible to half past, or as close as possible to the o'clock mark. And if it happens a quarter to, just try to avoid it. I know it's hard. I know it's hard seeing something and just avoiding it or allowing it to go without you. It's very hard, I know that, but you have to do that, because this is not mostly when they shift the zones, okay? This is not mostly when they shift the zones. They shift the zones mostly at this time here, or at this time here, okay? So I believe you understand. And when all these things are met, that's when you execute, okay? So guys, I'm gonna run quick to the charts, and that's where we're gonna start looking at what we have been talking about, okay? I'm just gonna go through 3 days, which is important. First of all, as you can see, this is the NAS, okay? On the NAS, I'm gonna start on, sorry guys, I'm gonna start on Monday, okay? If we look at Monday, don't worry about the volumes. I don't use them. As I already spoke about this, we're going to be coming somewhere around here, right? And you can see we are in the middle. There are people who went up, and again, there are people who went down. You can see we are in the middle. So we can't tell if those up are trapped or these ones down are trapped. So we can pass, okay? And now what's the next step? The next step is to wait for the session to open exactly the time, but we don't take the first one, okay? Okay. This is highly important, okay? This is highly important. And as the session as we are in the middle of the session, something fascinating happened. Prices exploded down, and then they started creeping. You see, they started creeping. This here is a creeping trend, okay? Yes, mostly of course you'll see the trends before the session starts, okay? But for creeping trends, they can give the trend once the session is in progress. This is highly important to know. That's why I've given you the different types of trends, okay? That's why I've given you the different types of trends. I've given you the different types of trends. This is a creeping trend, and I told you under creeping trends we have more than 6 different types of trends. So you know exactly, guys, what to do, okay? Because on this day, which was Monday, was a holiday, okay? Preferably on holidays you can go out because there's less volatility. However, there are days when there will be more volatility, okay? Because guys, you can't predict the market, okay? But they gave a creeping trend. They gave a creeping trend, okay? You know, just go through and read the creeping trends, okay? So here, this was the most easiest execution because prices exploded, then they gave you a creeping trend. You know how to enter a creeping trend. I'm not gonna go through creeping trends today, okay? But this was a dead giveaway, okay? This was a dead giveaway because you know that when this happens on a creeping trend, they're most likely gonna come down here. So this was a dead giveaway, okay? Dead giveaway, roughly 50. Dead giveaway, okay? Dead giveaway, okay? Based on what? Based on the creeping trend. So I'm not gonna go through creeping trends today, okay? So now let's come to yesterday. Let's come to yesterday. Okay, as you can see here, I don't have my let me take this template here. Okay, as you can see, yes, I didn't have my session time, but right now we're gonna go through and look at this day because on Monday they gave a creeping trend, but guys, you already have that information, and I told you those different kind of trends are a strategy on themselves, okay? So you have all the information you need, okay? So now let's see who is trapped. Who is trapped? Okay, where are we? Where are we? We are coming somewhere around here, 10 to 5 minutes. There are people who went up and there are people who went down. On this day, we don't know who is trapped because these guys who went up could be trapped or these guys who went down could be trapped. So it wasn't clear as to who was trapped. So what do? We continue. We wait for what? For the session to begin. Okay, this was yesterday, guys. We wait for the session to begin. And what are we looking for? Okay. Yes, we are looking for a chart pattern once the session starts. This is S&P, by the way, okay? So we're gonna be looking at this, okay? Because this is a checkbox that I use to judge the trades and decide on which one to take on the day, okay? So we're gonna start now looking from a chart pattern. Why? Because obviously we didn't see who was trapped. The session is now opened and there is no news during the session, which is important. If there are news, you just have to skip, okay? And now we want to see who's trapped during the session and we use the chart pattern, okay? So obviously we have gone through these two, okay? And now we want to go to the third one, who is trapped. Of course, if you look at this one again, now we are at this point here because we were unable to see this ones and this one has been met. Now we will have to go to the next one, okay? So now we're gonna look for a chart pattern, which is important, okay? I told you and I gave you different types of chart patterns. Okay, guys, I'm just gonna zoom this a little bit so that you see. Okay, they go up, the session opens. I told you the first candle is gonna be the biggest candle, so we don't chase it, it's okay. What happens next? They bounce on the closing price, they go up. Do we have anything? No, we don't have anything, okay? They come, they start playing here. Do we have anything? Okay, now you need to decide, okay? We need to decide. Okay, I gave you different kind of patterns as well on the book, okay? I gave you many patterns. And if you go and look at the patterns I gave you again, you will realize that I gave you this kind of a pattern. This is a half Batman, okay? This is a half Batman. You see, they go up, they touch. They come down, they touch. They go up, they touch, okay? They come down, they touch. And this is what I was telling you about. They give this last mini push. And you can see this is a big candle going up. This is something like a doji and then it's followed by a big candle. I told you this combination of candle is highly powerful. But anyway, we are not talking about that. This is half Batman, okay? I gave you these patterns. This is half Batman, okay? So, yes, of course, do we have a pattern? We need to go back to our check box, tick box, all right? Do you have a pattern? Yes, we have half Batman. Okay? Okay, we have what? We have a half Batman, okay? So the pattern, we have it, okay? Now we go to the next step. When we come to the text box, you will see I added some things which are important in judging the trade. Okay, this enables us to take the most easiest one. So is the pattern perfect? For a pattern to be perfect, it needs 3 touches down and 3 touches up. So we go back and actually we look at the pattern. Okay, they touch, they go all the way up. Okay, and yes, they surpass half, so I'll count this, and then they go up again, roughly 3. So even if I didn't touch this one, okay, it will be 1 1, and then they go and make it 2 2, and then 3, and then the third one is the breakout. And you already know that, yes, of course, if the third one is a breakout, it's still good. Okay, so is this pattern perfect? Yes, it is perfect. And by the way, this is how Batman, the first real touch is the one where they send people down. Okay, they send people up, because they did send people up, and then they have to start consolidating on the other hand here. Why? Because these guys here are trapped and they do not want to revisit that level. I repeat, half Batman, these guys at the top are trapped and they do not want to revisit that level. So guys, is this pattern perfect? Does it have 3 touches down, 3 touches up? Yes, it does. Okay, and then pattern time, this helps us with the targets. Now if it takes more than 1 hour to build a pattern, then we know we can target 100 points. Okay, but if it's less than 1 hour, we can target how many? 50 points. That's the minimum. We don't go below what? We don't go below 50. Why? Because our maximum stop is 25. Okay, we don't go above 25 for stops. Okay, so if the SL maximum is 25 and the minimum target is 50, that gives us 1:2. So this is the worst risk reward ratio we are willing to accept. Okay, but most of the days the conditions will tell you, some days you'll be able to go 1:9, 1:10, 1:2. It will all depend on the conditions. Okay, it will all depend on the conditions. So what do? We need to count the time it took to build this pattern. Okay, it took 26 minutes. So with this one, of course, you can target 50. It's still okay. Okay, it's still okay. But again, we look at the volatility of the day. Was this day volatile? No, it wasn't that volatile. Okay, so on this day, even if you target 50, it's still okay. But one thing I can tell you is that okay, let's go back. I want to show you something very important, because these days I love a lot to execute the S&P. Why? S&P. Okay, S&P is double volatile as compared to the NAS and the US30. So if on US30 you are targeting roughly 50, on the NAS you target times 2, on S&P you target times 2. If you are targeting 100 on others, on this one you target times 2. Okay, so this tells you, because this is S&P and this is less than 100, so we are going to be targeting 100 here, 100 points here. Why? Because this one is double volatile compared to the others. Okay, so the pattern time was less than 30 minutes, so in other words, it's less than 1 hour. Okay, so the target here is 100. Why? Because it's 50 times 2. Okay, it's 100 points. Okay, now we go to the most important part. We need to see the evidence candle. Do we have an evidence candle? Okay, we have to judge or make judgments on ourselves. Okay, what did I tell you? We look at this candle, must be the biggest candle that breaks out. Yes, of course, and it must be the biggest from the last touch. It must be bigger than all the candles from the last touch. And I just drew this for you a couple minutes ago. Okay, I just drew this for you a couple minutes ago. You remember what I said? Okay, sorry for this. Okay, you remember what I said here? I said, yes, this is the last touch, but if they give you something like a mini push to the top, this is now our last touch. We no longer use this, but we use this. I just said that not long ago. So I believe you actually remember that. Okay, so where is the last touch? This is the last touch. Okay, in other words, the candle that breaks out here must be bigger from all the candles from this last mini touch. And I told you this is powerful, and I told you most of the time they're going to give you this type of candlestick pattern, not chart pattern, candlestick pattern. Guys, there's a book called the Bible, the Candlestick Bible, or the Japanese candlestick. Please, if you can get your hands on those books, please do, because they are highly valuable books, and there's a lot of things you can learn from them regarding the candles. Okay, because honestly, you're not going to learn everything on the videos. There are things you have to read by yourself. Okay, there are things you have to learn by back testing. And by the way, I have a back testing tool which is free in the description. You can download it and you should backtest. You're not just going to understand this because I'm saying this. Even if you watch 1,000 videos, still again, you're not going to learn or become good. You need to put this into practice. You need to go back and backtest. At least backtest 1 day every day. Don't backtest 10 days in a day because still you're not going to be learning. Backtest 1 day because when the session starts, you need to reduce the speed and do it in real time. Okay, so that is important. Okay, so guys, this is the big candle from this touch, is it? Yes. So we go back again. We go back where? We go back to the tick box. Oh, this is important, guys. Okay, you can just print this and fill it out as the session is progressing. Okay, you saw this, you can just write it down and just use your pen. Okay, you don't even have to print it anyway. Okay, do we have an evidence candle? Yes. Why? Because there's the big candle that breaks out from the last touch, and we got that one. Now we need the time. I just told you this is the watch. We need evidence candles that actually happen as close as possible to these times around here, right? From 20 to 40 and from 50 to 10 past. This is the watch. This is just the time, right? Yes, but I prefer the ones that happen from 55 to 5 past or from 25 to 35. But again, from 20 is still okay. So now we need to go and reconfirm the times. This is beautiful, okay? So now let's look at the time. The time is on my broker. Just look down here, okay? Just look down here. You'll see the times. Here it's actually saying 15:02. This server time is behind in 2 hours. So this is actually 17:02. 17:02 if you're in South Africa. You see, this is 2 past. What did I say? I said I prefer the ones from which are 5 minutes before or 5 minutes after the clock or the 30 minutes mark. Okay, so what happened? Boom, this is the biggest one, and you take it. What did we say? Maximum stop is 25. Okay, this is just 17 and this is 25. This is 25. So guys, you already know this is 25. Okay, this is the stop. Okay, these are the stops. Okay, very, very easy. These are the stops. This is your entry. And what did we say? We said we are targeting how many? 100. Why? Because it took less than okay, this is 100. It actually took less than 1 hour to build out, and this is S&P, which is double the size of the others. So you can see this is where your 100 was delivered. So at the end of the day, it did go many, but that's none of your business. It doesn't matter how big the move is. Okay, it doesn't matter how big the move is. The most important thing is the quality. Okay, so you see, this is epic. This is 100% because this is 02 is here. Perfect timing, super perfect timing. I call this my golden times. Super perfect. You see, super perfect. Okay, super perfect. Okay, now let's go to another one. Okay, let's look at the Dow yesterday. Let's try to see who is trapped. Okay, who is trapped here? Okay, of course, who is trapped? You see now, this one is much different. Why? Because we are coming somewhere here, and you can see we are not okay. We are coming somebody here. There are people who went down. Let's see where our 10 minutes is. Okay, because we need to make proper judgments here. Okay, yes, as we are coming, obviously we are coming somewhere here. Okay, so who is trapped? At this time around, you can say people who went down are trapped, but again, as the session is opening, we need to be aware that there are people above us. Okay, so we need to be aware of that as well. Okay, we need to be aware. Okay, so guys, let's go and wait for the session to open. I'll show you days with proper trap volume. Okay, because we need to be up for people to be trapped, because at this point, if we are here, these guys could be the ones who are trapped and prices could go in that direction. Okay, so what do? We wait for the session to open. After the session opens, what do we wait for? We wait for a chart pattern. Okay, this is beautiful. I told you sometimes chart patterns will start before the session. They will start when? Before the session. However, they have to do what? They have to complete inside the session. Okay, so you can see this is an inverted triangle. Okay, inverted triangle. It's an inverted symmetrical triangle. Okay, inverted symmetrical triangle. Okay, then we have it here. What's the next thing to look at? We have to see if the pattern is perfect. Okay, does it have 3 touches? 1, 2, 2 down. Okay, 2 down. Yes. And then 2 up at the same time, because we're not going to count this one. Okay, and they didn't really pull back here, so we can say 1 1, okay, we can say 2, and then of course they come down. Yes, not, they are not always going to touch, but you can see they gave all the effort coming down. You just have to be fair. Okay, and then, because I know that people will argue, but this doesn't touch. Guys, you have to be fair. Okay, and by the way, when you backtest, you're gonna start understanding this one. And please journal as well. Okay, because backtesting without journaling, you are literally not doing much work. Okay, so guys, when you look at this, it has 3 3 3. Is it perfect? Yes. We have the pattern. Is it perfect? Yes. How long does it take? How long does it take? It takes 74 minutes. This is above an hour. So obviously you're going to target 100 on this one, okay? You are going to target 100. Okay, another thing I use for my target is I use the size. I use the size here, okay? If it's above 100, then you can target 100, okay? And that's something I didn't mention on the S&P. On the S&P, you can take the size of the pattern. This was roughly 50, okay? That's why you target 100, okay? But if this one was 100, you could have targeted 200 because this one is double volatile, okay? So now we need to see what? We need to see if we have an evidence candle. An evidence candle is the big candle that breaks out, okay? Is this an evidence candle? Possibly not. Why? Because in this case, we didn't have that mini pushed up, okay? This is just an inside candle that's just going they're just going down, okay? It's inside. We didn't have this mini push here, somewhere here, okay? Had we had the mini push, this would have sufficed, provided we didn't have a candle of this size, okay? It would have sufficed. But in this case here, this candle here is way too big than this candle. And by the way, if they took this one and gave it here, it was going to be fair. So guys, don't just jump into things, okay? It doesn't matter if it goes 500 after that. We need to make sure that this is what we are looking for. It's very important, okay? It's very important, okay? Because remember, we have things called stop hunts. We have fake breakouts. And mostly when you don't have an evidence candle, most of the time they're going to give you a fake breakout. And of course, there are some days when they will go, but that's not important because you have to try and avoid fake breakouts by all means, okay? So this one is not actually an evidence candle, okay? The best you can do is wait for a retest. And they did give a retest in a way, okay? They did give a retest. Yes, guys, it didn't touch. Guys, remember, these things are supposed to be areas. These things are supposed to be areas. It's not like this is supposed to be a line. We use lines for simplicity, but it's supposed to be areas. And some people wait for things to touch exactly. You might wait forever and watch all the opportunities pass you by. So they gave a retest. And what did they do? They gave a big candle. They gave it 2 dojis. Oh, this is beautiful. Then they gave an engulfing candle. This candle engulfed almost this one and this one and this one. So it engulfed roughly 3 candles. So this is a valid entry, okay? This is a valid entry. A valid entry, this one, okay? So because this pattern was roughly above, it was above 100, it was above an hour, you can target 100. But again, of course, yes, it wasn't so clear because we opened close to this one, so it wasn't so clear of who was trapped, okay? Because again, these guys who were sent down were actually also trapped in this case, okay? Just that it's not clear, okay? So if you saw this guys as trap volume, then you know that most of the time there are 3 things that are gonna happen, okay? There are 3 things that are gonna happen, okay? Let me just say okay, let me just bring this. I have okay, there are 3 things that are gonna happen, okay? Because if this is actually the reason why we identify trap volume before the session. It's very important, okay? This is why we identify trap volume before the session, because when things like this happen, they are gonna give one of 3 things, okay? First of all, if these guys over here are trapped, what's gonna happen? Okay, they will give you an opportunity down, and sometimes they are not gonna release these guys who are trapped, so they can just come and reverse, okay? That's important to know, okay? That's highly important to understand, okay? The second scenario here is where they actually do something like this. They give you the opportunity, okay? They go down and they just come and stop hunt and reverse, okay? So this is important to be aware of as well. Very important to be aware of this, okay? And the third scenario is where they do something like this. They give an opportunity, stop hunt everybody, come and retest, okay? And then they collapse, okay? He's saying this because they retested. Guys, watch all my videos. This is what I always tell you. Yes, they did retest, of which is a good thing, okay? It's a good thing, okay? But I'm not going to talk about that, okay? But this is one of the three things they are going to do. So because they are trap volume down here, it's obviously better to target roughly 50, because even if they don't release these guys, you'll get your 50. Even if they stop hunt these guys, you'll get your 50. Even if they go down, you got your 50. Some people are so obsessed with big moves. Guys, it's not every day when they'll give you this kind of big moves, okay? What do you do when they don't give them? What do you do when they give you 50 and reverse? Besides, we want something that happens more frequently than something that happens once in a while. So guys, you can see for me, this one didn't have an evidence candle, so I opt for the easy one. I told you, look at them at the same time. I opt for the simple one. And then again, we have to look at the time. The time here was 51. You see, perfect timing again. Perfect timing, but it wasn't the biggest candle. So is this evidence? No. It failed to be evidence. It didn't qualify to be evidence, so we're not going to count it as evidence. Okay, so guys, this was a good one, but after it did this, after doing this, it was a good one. But again, for me, I just saw this one as the most better one because everything was so clean, and I love this pattern as well. Okay, so even this one, I love the pattern, but guys, obviously you need the easiest one. Okay, you need the easiest one. So for this one, yesterday it was playing a lot because it wasn't giving like sorry guys, it was just playing a lot. This one didn't really give something clean, okay? Because again the pattern wasn't so clean, okay? So I told you, you look at them at the same time, okay? Because you can see there's no evidence here. You just look at them at the same time, and of course this pattern wasn't good. If you say you saw a triangle, yes, they gave the mini, but there was no evidence here because again, this candle and this candle here, from the mini touch up, this candle is bigger than this one, okay? It's actually bigger than this one. So guys, there are many things that will actually save you. Let's look at the time they broke out, and again, they broke out at 12 powers, so the timing wasn't perfect. It's 11 powers, so it's 1 minute after. The time wasn't perfect as well. So these are the small things that will actually save you, okay? These are the small things that will solve you. And by the way, we don't care if it really went down, but if the setup is not good, we don't care about it. We just allow it to be. So guys, this is it, and I believe it's so clear, and I believe you understand, okay? Yes, of course, I'm not gonna talk about this, okay? Because I told you, when they give you a different kind of trend, you're gonna get the most easiest. Whether it's an explosive, whether it's a creeping, whether it's a normal, those ones provide the most easiest executions. And anyhow, I don't want to go through this because you already know these things, and these are the easiest ones, guys. It's straightforward. I gave all of them to you because they are straightforward, guys. They are straightforward. These types of trends are straightforward. The entry criteria are straightforward. I've even drawn everything for you. So this is straightforward, and you have that. Just go and master it, okay? Just go and master it. It's very important, okay? And for those who need this book, it's in the description. Anyway, guys, I love you. Have a blessed day. Thank you.